It's time for the Japanese gaming news from the week of July 17th, 2020 from Reiwa Gaming Matt. Hi everyone, Matt here, and it's time again for another week of Japanese gaming news. There's been a lot of news this week of interest to me, and I'm just going to get right on to it so we can get started talking about it. And the first bit of news we're going to talk about is a surprise game rating in Australia for a possible new sequel to the Atelier Ryza game that came out last year. It's called Atelier Ryza 2 Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. If you don't know what Atelier Ryza is, it was a game from Koei Tecmo that came out last year, an RPG game from a long-running RPG series known as the Atelier series. And it was very, very popular among JRPG fans. It had a really interesting cast. Particularly the main character was very popular for obvious reasons, as you'll see in the pictures here. And the game was considered pretty much a fun game in the entire series. Now, I happen to have it. I played a little bit of it. Really enjoyed what I've played so far, but I need to play a little more because I've only played a tiny bit of it. But I'm really surprised to see that the game's getting a sequel. It's not surprising to see a new game in this series, but to see this game actually get an actual full sequel so quickly with no news of it in Japan is kind of surprising. But we'll probably hear something from Koei Tecmo very, very soon. But that's interesting news to hear. Brand new game from the Atelier Ryza series. Well, it's now a series because there's a second game, the Atelier series in general. So that was, of course, a very big surprise the last couple of days. We got another big surprise. It's not completely a surprise. We knew it was coming. But a former Xbox One exclusive, yes, they do exist in Japan, Xbox One exclusive Japan game from the company Experience, that's known for their JRPG games, has apparently unveiled their release date for the PS4 and Switch versions of the game Yomi o Sakuhana. Again, this is another one of their great JRPG titles. Experience is known for making these dungeon roleplay games, which were very popular with hardcore Japanese RPG gamers. It's one of the reasons why that they made some of these games for the Xbox One, because a lot of hardcore, really truly hardcore gamers do buy Xboxes in Japan, believe it or not. And this was again another one of their recent titles that has gotten a lot of interest because JRPG games, quite fun. I have been a big fan of theirs. I love their game Strangers from Sword City that came out many years ago on a lot of the systems, particularly the PlayStation Vita. And this is another game I'm definitely looking forward to. It's really nice to see that Experience is not keeping their games just on the Xbox. They're releasing them also on the Switch and the PS4. They really should because, hey, the audience is there and the Xbox audience isn't so much. The next story we're going to talk about is the release, which came out today, of Ghost of Tsushima. And it's big award it's already received in Japan. Apparently, the reception to this game has been, from critic-wise, been pretty big. Of course, in America, it's done well in the reviews. But in Japan, Ghost of Tsushima has received the coveted 40 out of 40 review from Famitsu. I believe it's the 27th game in the history of Famitsu to receive that award. Now, of course, we should address the elephant in the room. Are Famitsu reviews worth talking about? And I would say yes, they are. They are simple reviews. They're very short. And they are numbered reviews, which many people don't care for these days. And even though it is a 40 out of 40 because they add the scores up, it's not really like, oh, a perfect game or anything like that. But it was definitely received very well by the reviewers. Of course, there are people that will say that Famitsu reviews have been paid off. I have yet to see any evidence of this. For over the 10 or 15 years I've been hearing these so-called rumors that Famitsu reviews are paid off. No one has ever been able to show any evidence other than I heard someone in the Japanese industry say this. Wouldn't surprise me based on some things I've heard, but until I see evidence, I'm still going to take it as serious as I can. I think it's a great honor. Apparently, the game is being quite looked at very well by Japanese gamers. It came out today in Japan. I'm waiting to get my American copy because, as I said before, it's a Z-rated game, so it probably has some edits to it because of the violence. I'm not sure if there's any dismemberment. I have seen some in the trailers, so that won't be in the Japanese version. So I'll be waiting for my English copy in the next few days. Also releasing today, of course, is Paper Mario: The Origami King, which is also releasing in the West as well. And that also is getting good reviews as well. So there's a lot of good games coming out this week in Japan to be excited for. In Other news, more talking about the next generation, Nikkei and Bloomberg have reported that Sony will double the production of their PlayStation 5 system from their original order plans for this fall. Now, obviously, Sony has been started making their system since June, and the hype for the system has been pretty high. But there's been worries that would Sony and Microsoft too, because of the Xbox Series X, would they be able to make enough systems or get systems on the shelves this fall due to all the situation going around the world? Well, apparently Sony's going to do whatever they can to get as many systems on the shelves as possible, although apparently they are saying that it wouldn't be surprised if you wouldn't be able to get a system. Also, earlier in the week, apparently pre-order pages, at least pre-order page templates, went up on sites like Amazon.com in the West. So we might be seeing pre-orders very soon. And if we see pre-orders, we're probably going to hear a date and a price. And with Microsoft's big event coming, I expect we're going to start hearing how much these systems are going to cost when they're coming out very, very soon. Hopefully not too expensive at all in the West. And also in Japan, too. I'm really worried about the Japan price for some reason. Now, of course, we were talking about Nintendo today. Of course, Paper Mario came out, and after that, we really don't know what's coming out this year. So there's a big question of when Nintendo's going to start talking again. And even though they kind of said early in the year they had no big plans for a gigantic E3 Nintendo Direct, there's a lot of rumors that there is a Nintendo Direct in the making right now and could be coming any moment now. Rumors all over the net saying that a lot of games are being prepared and ready to go. There's been some Twitter pages that have been found that people are saying are like connected to Nintendo Japan, related to the so-called rumored Super Mario 3D game collection that's been talked about for a few months that would be coming to the Switch, which would include things like Super Mario 64 and Sunshine and the Galaxy games in one collection. There's apparently been even someone made a new Twitter account for F-Zero, which most people think is fake. But it's very interesting to see these rumors pop up. When you add in the Atelier Ryza 2 announcement that came through the rating, maybe there's something up to this. So hopefully we'll hear something very soon. Obviously today is the Paper Mario Day. Next week, I think is a good time for the Nintendo to come and talk about what's coming out, because hey, we really don't know what's coming out this fall, and it's time for Nintendo to speak up. So that'll be very interesting to hear. And finally, in regards to Western releases of Japanese games, we have a little bit of disappointing news from the Danganronpa series. And fans of that series may want to keep a note about this information. However, it may not be as bad as we fear. And that is that apparently in the coming months, many of the Danganronpa games are going to disappear from the PlayStation Store in the West. Now, these games were released in the West by NIS America, the translation company and localization company that works on a lot of games from Japanese developers. And they posted that as of August 31st, Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls for the PlayStation Vita, will be removed from the PlayStation Store. On September 4th, Danganronpa 1 and 2 for the PlayStation Vita will be removed from the PlayStation Store. And on September 25th, Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony, both for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita, will be removed from the PlayStation Store. Interesting enough, a few other games have not been put on that list, namely Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload for the PlayStation 4, or the PlayStation 4 version of Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. Now, I said that this is sad news, but it may not be that bad news, because this game series, while it was published in the West by NIS America, it actually was released in Japan by Spike Chunsoft. And for a long time, they didn't release their own games. They didn't have much of a presence in America on their own, but in recent years, they've actually now gotten into the American video game publishing industry and been releasing their own games through their own company. So there's a lot of people saying that this is probably just the end of a publishing deal, and that these games will go to Spike Chunsoft, they'll go back to them, and that they will end up releasing the games back on the PlayStation Store after they are removed. And that does happen sometimes. We've seen some game companies switch publishers after games have been pulled off. So there's a big hope that those games will end up staying on the store in long term once this publishing issue gets done. Now, of course, this is a big worry about the future of digital entertainment. People were worried that games will just disappear. We've seen that with things like, what was it, Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim, a very popular game. People have wanted to play it for a long time, but they've not been able to buy it because of rights issues. These are the type of things that people worry about, that these games will not be available in the future. It is something we're going to have to deal with. It is something we're going to have to figure out. So if you want those games for certain right now, you may want to pick them up, but there's probably a good chance they're going to be re-released. Anyway, those are the big news stories from this week from Japan that I'm interested in. There are, of course, many other stories, but if you're interested in hearing more every week, I will be doing this news segment every Friday. And, of course, if you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike it, that's fine. Have a comment or a question or suggestions, please put in the comments. And please share this video, subscribe. Do whatever you can, because I'm really enjoying this. My last video did very well, and I hope you really enjoy this one too. Have a good weekend, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm already getting really big into Deadly Premonition 2. Hopefully we'll have that review up by the end of the weekend. Until then, everyone, have a good weekend and take care. Tune in each Friday for another news segment from Reiwa Gaming Matt. Until then, have a good weekend, enjoy your gaming, and see you next time.